Hello, my fellow comrades. Nice to see you. To see you nice. I hope you're all having a fine day there wherever you are. I am having a fine day. Thank you for asking. I am just sharing this on Facebook. So I can have as many viewers as possible. And it can make me feel super proud having a big audience. Voila. It's really cool. So, usual, let me tell you how it works if you are new stream. So if you want to ask me a question, then it's through Skype and just send me a friend request, and you can either call in or you can write me a question. Remember, if you call in, to make sure that you have a headset so that it's nice sound for other people. If you want to come to one of my events, in 2 weeks I have a retreat in Spain, which you're very welcome to attend. Try to think. I also have a in August, in July in Sweden, but I'm still negotiating that. That is it. I always like to start the beginning of my talk sitting in silence, so you're welcome to join me for that. Oui, très bien. Ça va? again. It's back on again now. But it's pulsing the whole time. So you've only got 9 ping rates, about 34. So, in the beginning, there was nothing. And then God said, let there be light. And suddenly, you could see. So here we are. There's sensation. There's heart beating. There's bottom on your seat. There's hearing. There's feeling. There's drinking if you're drinking. There's eating if you're eating. And this is what is. This is what's happening. And this is all that's important. There's nothing else that's actually needed. And what is your gift, or is the gift, is the mystery. What is the end of limitation and the magic. Limitation only exists in what's not here. There is no limitation here. You might think that you're somebody looking, or you're somebody experiencing, but that's a thought. That's an idea that you're telling yourself. It's not actually the way it is. You aren't actually somebody that's looking at themselves, that's looking at the world. It's an energetic division which is created by story that you're somebody inside here or inside the body looking. You're not inside the body looking. There is only looking happening. That looking is free, is full. You suffer when there's an identification with what you think. And the fundamental of what you think is that I am somebody inside the body, that I am somebody sitting, observing the world, that I'm somebody that's good or bad or right or wrong or tall or short or fat or thin, that I'm somebody that's come from the past and sitting in this moment, that I've experienced a life of 38 years and that I've got another 38 years to live, that I'm rich or poor. That I can or can't do things, that things will or won't happen. I'm going to be successful or unsuccessful, victorious or not victorious, that I'm powerful, that I can choose or not choose, that I'm thinking, and all of that is thought. What's left without it? What's left right here, right now? What is there? And what's always here, no matter what, is what is. And what is consists of 2 main components: a consciousness of everything, so everything that's conscious, or consciousness which is everything, and this sense of existence that always exists. All the things change, the sounds change, or the sights change, or the objects change, life changes, but what remains is a consciousness of it and this sense that it's existing, that's happening. And it's not that that consciousness is separate from all things. The consciousness is all things. Consciousness isn't something that starts in the brain. It's not something that's aware of the world. The consciousness is the things, is the appearance of these things. And they're appearing from no place, from nothing at all. No place, nothing. And this sense of existence is like that tool that as well. This I am, this is. And it's not anyone that knows that, it's just the way it is, this empty looking that is all things, that comes from this moment and this sense that it's all happening, that this is existing. And the I am is love, and you could say the consciousness is emptiness, wisdom. And it's looking through a body, so it's consciousness, life is looking through all these bodies, but there's not actually somebody inside these bodies. There's a story running of somebody, and that doesn't have to be not denied or ignored, but that's not actually who you are. There's an experience of it. And the way that you can know that is there's a consciousness of the thoughts, there's a consciousness of the story. So therefore, that story of you cannot be what's perceiving. It's a perception. There's something that's conscious of it. Like there's a consciousness of the chair, there's a consciousness of the table, of the computer, of the light, of the window, of the sounds. So it's the same with you. Everything you think about yourself, there is a perception of it, and you are the perceiver, not the one that you're perceiving. And that's the fundamental mistake, and it becomes an energetic in the body that I am a body, I am a story. But that's not true. You can see the person, so therefore it can't be you. There is a perception of that person, so it cannot be you. And this is freedom to know this. It's an energetic release from being bound, from being limitations, from being an idea, from being something which can be boxed. And naturally your essence is this magic and expansiveness, and in that the person plays, and the person might have anger or happiness or sadness or joy or frustration, but that person isn't you, and that's the freedom. The belief that person is you, everything becomes so real and intense, and there's the constant identification to the moving story of what's happened to you and where you're going. And consciousness isn't separate from things. There isn't a consciousness which is separate or prior to things. The things are consciousness. Consciousness and things, consciousness and perception are the same thing. You cannot ever find consciousness. You can't ever grab hold of it and say, this is what I am. And consciousness isn't found in one particular thing. So you don't say, okay, I'm consciousness and I'm the table. Consciousness is in all things, and the things are appearing and disappearing from that same source of who you are, which is no thing. But perception, you could say, but even that is too much. Even that gives it too many names. The game is to remember without it being an intellectual remembering, or remembering before, prior to the intellect, prior to words, prior to what you can know in movement. It's a remembering beyond that. It's something beyond the person. The person can't know this. The person is always moving in this. And so that's the game. It's really amazing, and it's here all that time, that remembering. It's here in everything that's happening. It's just the focus is on you and what you can get and how happy you can be and what feelings you feel and what you're going to get from this life and what's important to you in this life. But in between all of that, in the gaps in between, there is this conscious perception that wants nothing, requires nothing, and is totally free and clean of suffering. And it's also got this sense, this I am, or this sense of existence. Not an I am that consciousness is conscious of, but this I am that's beyond that, that's love, that loves all of this. Not sort of I am and there's a consciousness of the I am. It's beyond that. It's this sense of being, this aliveness. And it's those two things, one without the other, makes them incomplete. So without the I am, without that sense of beingness, it's cold, the consciousness. And without the consciousness, it's not wise, because there's still attachment to that love, or there's a belief that that love is you in some way. They're together, they're two sides of the coin, this sense of a beingness, this alive presence, and then this empty looking. It's emptiness. And this is freedom. This recognition, this remembering beyond you. Remembering beyond you. It's not even remembering, it's just seeing clearly. It's seeing the detail of life, that what's always here is perception, is awakeness, and that beingness. Everything else comes and goes. It comes and goes. Comes and goes. So you become lost in the daydream when you believe that you're something that moves, when you believe you're a feeling, a thought, an idea, or a body. You believe that you're going to die with this body, and there's this energetic contraction into it and fear of losing this body, that you believe your house or your money is yours, that this life is yours. Whose is it? Whose life is this? Who's experiencing this life? And who cares about anything? Who cares about anything? You'll notice the consciousness just totally embraces everything, and all problems arise from the person that's attached to its life and attached to what it believes it needs. I need to be rich in the future. I need to be successful in the future. I need to be validated in the future. I need Lisa's attention, or my mother's attention, or I need to have a bigger house or more furniture, or a freer environment, or less work. None of that is true. All of that is mental delusions. It doesn't mean that you don't change that in your life, but your freedom is that empty looking that's right here. Who is looking here? Who is experiencing? And notice that there is no difference between what is and the experiencer. The experiencer and everything that's perceived is who you are, and everything's appearing from that, and that is love. And it comes with heart, with beingness. So it's this consciousness and this beingness. It's not just empty consciousness. That would be cold. That would be dead. It also comes with a presence, this heart. This is who you are, and it's always here. You don't need to be aware of it. It is aware of you. It is conscious of you. And in the human form, it feels like you have choice and that you do things and that you move around this world. It would feel like you were trapped if it didn't. But you're not really choosing. Like, how could you choose? It's an appearance of choice. So if I give my dog, for example, so Khaleesi, who's sleeping over there. We've been on the beach a long time today, so she's very tired. Ee. if we give her, for an example, so if I said to her, okay, you've got to choose between an apple and a piece of chicken. So Khaleesi has no perception of choice. She has no idea about choice. She doesn't sit there and contemplate the meaning of choice, if she has freedom, if this choice was better than that, if she's guilty for not choosing this or that. Should I tell you why she doesn't do that? Because believe it or not, dogs cannot think. I know most people think they can think, but how could they think if they can't speak? They have no language to think in. They obviously have some form of imagining, but they can't sit there and be like, did I make the right choice today? Is democracy successful in our country? Should I vote for the Green Party or Labour? They don't have that ability. They apparently have a brain the size of a walnut, which is a little surprising, but apparently they do. And they can't choose in the way that we project onto them they are. But yet there's an appearance of choice. So if I give her a carrot and a chicken bone, so this is the chicken bone and this is the carrot, she'll be like, and she'll take the chicken bone. Now we would say that she chose a chicken bone over the carrot because she's a predator who likes meat. But she didn't choose. It was predestined what she was going to choose. Of course she's going to choose the chicken. Sometimes she chooses a carrot if she hasn't had enough fibre, but most of the time she's always going to choose the protein and the dead animal. And how did she do that? Everyone's like, that's my choice. I chose to pick a house in Derbyshire. How? You were programmed to pick that from your very beginning. Like, she's programmed to pick the chicken. She's not good or bad for being a vegetarian or a meat eater. She was programmed to pick it. And that programming came from many, many generations of dog and this big, long evolution in time. And humans are so arrogant because they're sitting there and they're in the supermarket and they're choosing between buying Colgate and Sensodyne toothpaste, and afterwards they're like, oh damn, I should have bought Sensodyne, I just wasted my money, blah 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 blah. But that choice begun millions of years ago. They couldn't have chosen anything else. And then they're arrogant because they believe they did it and they made a mistake. Believing you made a mistake, in a way, you could say is arrogance, because how could it have been any other way than what it is? Yet, as humans, our mind goes crazy on this. We suffer so much about choosing, and our society works on the illusion of choice. So it's funny the way that our society reflects back this illusion of choice. So in the moment, that ability to choose makes us feel free. So the ability to choose between a carrot and chicken makes us feel free. Like, we don't feel like we're caged, or we don't feel like we're robotic. We feel free. Excuse me about wiping my bogey, but it's hay fever season, and I just couldn't care less if people are disgusted by the fact that you get bogey and slime coming out of your nose when it's hay fever. I would wipe my nose with tissue, but I'm trapped in here and I forgot to bring tissue. So the sleeve becomes the next best thing. Dig, dig, dig. So it gives us the sense of freedom, the fact that we can choose between a chicken bone and a carrot, and then we're like, boo, 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 yeah, and that makes us feel free. And then our society reflects this back. Like, our society is based on the illusion of choice, that we can choose what career to go in, we can choose what washing powder to buy at the supermarket, and we have hundreds of different choices, and it makes us feel free, this appearance of choice. But who is choosing? It couldn't ever be any other way. You didn't ask to have your brain or your particular wiring or your conditioning of your society or to be a human. It's just the way it is, and you're always going to pick what you pick, and then the mind doubts it or feels ashamed by it. One of the things, if you want to wipe out your suffering, even though it's not your choice, but if you want to wipe out a big chunk of your suffering, it's just to feel confident in your choices, that you didn't choose wrongly. Well, the reason I suspect that we're programmed to have the appearance of choice is because it makes us reflect information. So our system uses the appearance of choice to evolve. So by being able to say that was a wrong decision, we can then reflect on a better decision and evolve our decision making. We can then think about what would be a better decision and what we could do in the future, even though there is no choice. But doing that makes us evolve as a species. It makes us grow. Which is what we're all about, is evolving. And in the moment, what we're doing when we like sniff like Khaleesi, the chicken bone or the carrot, what we're doing in that moment is putting information into the body so the body can evolve from those inputs. But there is nobody that's choosing. There is an evolution of a machine happening that's completely impersonal and got nothing to do with who you are. Who you are is that still freedom, that perception that's right here and not separate from everything. What happens is this energy sucks into the choices and claims it and says, me, I'm choosing, which is a big amount of arrogance. I'm acting. Choice is super important to help us evolve, but it's not the truth. It's not reality. How could it be reality? In a way, it's a really simplistic idea, and it's kind of crazy that humans bought into it and believed that choice was a reality. How can you choose? How? Who chooses? Like, are you somebody in the background being like, I'm going to choose this. Let me just write in the thought that chooses this. And then the thought comes up, I'm going to choose to go for a walk now. You don't. The thought just appears from where? This infinite space of nowhere. And this is the key. The thought, the feelings all arise from nowhere. And that's the freedom. That everything is appearing from nothing. Look at your experience. All of this is not appearing from the past. It's not appearing from a generated place. It's all spontaneously appearing now. And that's the answer. Now, now, now. And you can screw the idea of consciousness. You can screw in the idea of I am, the idea of God's consciousness, or this, or whatever you want to call it in a complex way. But what the teaching truly is that this moment is it, right here. The freedom is here. It's all about being. It's all about the experience. It's not about what the experience accumulates to. Because I can assure you there's going to be no big bang at the end. There's not going to be this fireworks when you get to the end of life and be like, you made it into heaven. You made it into hell. Heaven and hell is right now. There is no ending that's coming. There is no ending. Look around at life. What ends? Look sensibly. Deduct what ends. Nothing ends. You're not going to make it to this crossover line of heaven that's like, yeah, we made it. And then what's the story going to be? Why did you make it into heaven? It's going to be like, the story is that whole life we were judging you if you're a good person or a bad person. And if you're a good person, you get to live in constant state of pleasure for the rest of your life. And if you're a bad person, then you live in a constant state of hell. But why? Why would that be the finale to this life? That you live in a constant state of pleasure, that you get these 80 years where you've got to prove yourself worthy of pleasure. It's such a bonkers, crazy idea. The freedom, what you're looking for is now. The answer to everything, the Garden of Eden, heaven is now. It's that realization. It's the collapse of the wanting and the needing and the sucking of life and trying to make everything yours and appreciating it for what it is. Free, unlimited, boundless. Like looking at science and realizing that this idea of the Big Bang and constant expansion is a reflection of our nature. Our nature is expansion. Our nature is unlimitedness. And as we remember that our nature is unlimitedness, looking through apparent limitation, then freedom takes over. And beauty is remembered. This miracle is remembered. When you believe you are an object moving in time, it's life of suffering. Because everything you love will be taken from you. Everything. I can't believe that I've just done this massive speech because I'm super drugged up. I've got really bad hay fever and I'm in northern Germany and I have none of my normal things to help me. So I just drugged myself. And if you have hay fever, you know if you take the drugs, it's like all day I've been like... And then, and now suddenly I'm talking about this subject and it's like full throttle. It's pretty impressive what we can do without doing it. Oh, I can see white. Why light for you is on there trying to bonk me again. He can't successfully bonk me in person, so he tries to do it through words of domination. It's all about sex. He doesn't believe me though. He thinks that I'm a bad teacher and that he's got to correct things and that he's got to help me because I need help. Yes, the young woman, the young damsel needs your help. Here is my hand needing your help. It's sexual. It's just like the woman to the male teacher being all like, I need your help. I need your help. And that's what the male, like in traditional mythology, that's what the male is. The male energy, the masculine energy is like, I will save you. I will help you. And in spirituality, when the male is the teacher, the women are all like, oh yes, please help me. And it's kind of like a sexual act being acted out, but a lot of the time they're not conscious of it. And now you're trying to play it, but you're trying to force me into being helped by you. I'm now a middle-aged woman, and I'm so super aware of these dynamics between men and women. Oh, here we go. Yes, I am trapped. That's an impression of sex. You just can't see it because I'm trapped between all this technology. I can't give you a full version of like a rabbit going. And I apologise to all those people that are very sensible listening to me being such a banana, but I am a banana. I'm like this in real life constantly. So if you have any expectations of me not being a banana, and being sensible, it's not the way it goes. Oh, I need your help. Help me. I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless without you. Please take my hand. I could never manage to teach non-duality without you. Please, here is my hand. Naughty Lisa. Naughty, don't expose the game. We've all got to pretend here that sexuality doesn't play a huge part in our society. It's so funny the way that we do that as a society, the way that like sexuality is just covered and hidden. But there's so many motives and interactions have sexuality in them, and then it's like, oops, we got to close the door to that. And then we have all this thing in our society at the moment where like famous people, if they cheat or if they're caught looking at porn or doing anything sexually slightly indecent, they're all like demonized. Not that I'm not into the Me Too movement. I think that was a really interesting experience that happened. I just mean it more on like I meant it on a different level when I was speaking about it, but I can't bother to even think of that now. My brain is too messed up from all the chemicals. It's the hay fever pills. Pardon me. Okay, so to stop me going into a fit of talking about nothing, let's turn to some questions. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Vadios. Hello. Nice to see you at home. I'm not at home. I don't have a cold either. I have hay fever. I'm not enlightened enough to be able to cure myself of my allergies. I tried. I can't do it. Hello, Lisa. I'm exploring, experiencing. From what you just talked about, especially with beingness, emptiness, could you please expand on recognizing that? The recognition doesn't belong to anyone. The recognition is beyond that person. It's here. It's in what's happening. There is this stillness in what's happening. It's here. It is here. It's this in the stillness of everything. Right here, in the intimacy. So the mind looks for something, the mind looks for an object, the mind looks for consciousness. What is consciousness? But notice that that mind, that thought structure is being looked at. It's right here in the appearance of things. Consciousness is the things. It is it. This is freedom. Thank you, Kuila. Hi, Marcus. It's been a while. First of all, I hope you get through this Brexit disaster. Yes. Second time I've been through this visa thing, and I moved to Australia and here, and I think it's my karma to have to really surrender to absolutely not knowing what I legally can do in 1 week's time. It's really quite something if you're an English person living or working in an EU country, especially if you've got your own business. Yes, I suspect that it won't happen though. I really get the sense that my government or the English government will back out if it comes to a hard exit. Yeah. Yes, and even if I have to move back to the UK, that's okay. I decided I will go back to Scotland this time if I have to go back. That's where my dad's from. And it's the least population. I have an issue living in a condensed area with too much population, so Scotland's the least populated. So I'll go up to the least populated area. But there is something on my mind. About 2 months ago, I connected to, yes, a Dutch speaker called Ligie, or Lee Hunebreck, and she really helped me get a little more distance to my many mental concepts and spirituality and enlightenment that I took on. And I just thought that maybe this also helps for others that are in a similar situation as I, and that are listening to your talks as I did for many times. I'm still happy that I found your videos, by the way. I was deeply disturbed and inspired by your talks. Deeply disturbed and inspired. That's a good combination, really. Yes, yes, you can write her name and people can look her up and find her. Hi, Bia. You are a beautiful teacher. God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. Oh, sweet Bia. Thank you. Hi, Archin. Archie is back. I'm the beast. You're the beast, really. Chestia. Hi Lisa, I have a question. It seems there's not much anyone can do for liberation or freedom. It's not even there's not much anyone can do. There is no you. And that you that you believe yourself to be is always moving in time. and liberation is here. So it's not even that there's not much you can do. It's that liberation is this movement back to what you already are. And that person can't move back to what you already are because that person is moving in what's not here. So the person to who you think you are is a daydream of the future and a daydream of the past. And it's this energy which is claiming that, claiming choice and sucking it in and making you feel like you're existing here. But it's like that existence is always moving in time, is a movement in time. And who you are is still, it's present, it's right here. So of course that person can't get to being right here because that person is already out of here, in movement past here. But yet there is still here-ness. There is still that Buddha nature. There is still presence, which is here. It's still there in experience. So in a way, you can't do anything but wake up. In a way, you can't do anything but remember home because it's what you've always been. It's just at the moment there's an identification with a lie that's being told, and then the energy keeps going into that lie that I am somebody. I'm moving through time. This and this and that and that. Bup, and on it goes. Hello, Mary Blochlan. I apologize about my pronunciation. Nice to meet you. Lena. Hi, Lena. Hello, Lisa. I struggle with several things, and you may say it's just the way it is. The thing is, I try to avoid my mother because there is perception that she is unattractive, and that brings up the whole story of my own pain with unattractiveness, and it feels hard to be around her. I don't want others to feel this way around me, though. I feel like I deserve that. But that's why I avoid life too. The truth is, though, that every time I see her, this comes up. And it also hurts my heart, both for my mother and for me. I feel caged, and I feel like I'm bad when I think and feel those things. And also it feels very weird and like a double standard because I don't want to have others have those feelings and thoughts about me. I'm repeating myself here, but I know that we aren't our looks, but you speak about that feelings are closer or truer. I don't know what to do with this. And thank you for your honesty, Lena. I don't think very many women would admit that. That's super cool that you admitted it. That already means that you're detached from it in a way. You can speak about it honestly and openly in front of people. Lena. Have you ever had, I can see that you like dogs. Have you ever had an ugly dog before? We used to have this dog, my mum had a dog called Muttley. And you might have seen her in my videos if you ever watched my earlier videos. She sometimes appeared on them. And Muttley had something wrong with her jaw, which made her continuously do this. And my mum overfed her, so she was also very plumpy. And she's like a very tiny dog. I've forgotten the name. Could you bring me a tissue? Thank you. I think you guys could hear that. And she was also a very small leg, so she was kind of like a barrel with these stick legs coming out, and then the tiny head, so a big barrel, these stick legs and a tiny head, and then a jaw that was like. And then she lost one of her teeth as well, so then she was like. I can't do it. Yeah, she wasn't super attractive dog. And people often used to say, don't look at me like that, because they thought she was growling at them. But she had a super sweet personality. And when you got to know her, you just stopped seeing it. You stopped seeing the way she looked. And then you might have had a dog before that's super beautiful, but not got a very nice personality. And then their looks change again. Go on, Khaleesi, go for a walkies. Go on, walkies. Walkies, go on. Go for walkies. Go on. You have to get a lead on and put it here. What a monkey you're being, Lucy. And it's the same with friends. I don't know if you've noticed that as well. What we actually find most attractive as a society is light shining through someone. I can fall in love with somebody that might have unfortunate looks, but then when I pass them and I see a glow coming out of them, it's like it melts my heart, and it's the most important thing to me. And then I can meet somebody that's super attractive, and then they have a closed heart and it's ugly and repulsive and sends me away. So being beautiful or being attractive to people on the human level, or being attractive to men, isn't being attractive to other humans isn't all it's cracked up to be. Having power in any situation, with power comes huge responsibility. And so sometimes you wish for things like being super rich or being super famous or being super beautiful, and you don't consider the power that comes with. And with power comes responsibility. And if you are attractive to people on the physical level, that's identifiable all the time. If you're super rich, people don't necessarily know it when you walk down the street, but they know it if you're attractive when you walk down the street. And with that comes jealousy from others, there comes ownership, wanting to own that object they find beautiful, power games. So we dream about these things. It's no different from dreaming about being super, super rich. It's the same sort of thing in our society, like being attractive or being super rich, or having lots of things, or being the head of a company, or being very talented or something. With that comes other dynamics from humans, and often other humans want to own it, keep it, or try and get it. So we imagine these things, but actually if we had them, we'd find it super stressful. Because when you have power, firstly, it comes with responsibility to treat other people with dignity, respect, and love. But also there is an establishment of boundaries that you have to continuously hold up. You have to be able to define boundaries and define when somebody's trying to take from you and when somebody's giving to you. If you have a lot to offer, so if you have looks or money or success, then if you have, it's in the back pocket of that bag. Yeah. If you have those things, then people will want to try and take from you, and you have to distinguish the differences. So what is it that wants that? What is it that you're looking for in that? Are you looking for power over people? Are you looking for appreciation? Like, why is it that you're repulsed by your mother, which is super great that you can admit, but why is it that you're repulsed by your mother? Like, that repulsion based on someone, the way they look, is a very interesting dynamic. Does that mean that to you, people are only worthy if they're beautiful? And if that does, then you need to see through that and explore that. To me, the greatest worth in a human being and any animal is that innocence. I think all animals have it, actually. But it's that joy, that innocence, that freedom that is so totally attractive. And someone can be plump, they can be ugly, they can be deformed, they can have a burnt face, a smooth face, and if their light is shining through, then that's the person I want to be nearest to. Than somebody that's really good looking but trying to take, and greedy and selfish and stingy and hateful and unempathetic. Motley was so cute with her little eyes and okay. We have lots of questions tonight. Hi, Izil. Hello, Lisa. This is Zil from Vancouver, Canada. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. My pleasure, but it's not actually my wisdom. Speaking is just a happening, but I'm happy to take that compliment. But in a way, it's life's wisdom. It's speaking coming out of nowhere. There was a moment I experienced an amazing expansive separation from the mind, my made self, a couple of years ago, and now I recently grasped that everything is thought and that its self is a thought. Thanks to you. My question is that even knowing this space, there seems to be expansiveness but emptiness. Are these two experiences different? No? No. They are not. Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. Hi, Raphael. Yes, hi, Ben. Yes, you're welcome. Hi, Raphael. Hi, Edith. Hi, Isabel. Hi, Carmela. Ah, nice hibiscus. Hi, Amy. Hi, Lisa. Good to be with you again. Thank you for being here so authentically. It's really beautiful and my mind relaxes so much just being with you during these streams. By the way, I love that they're called streams. It's appropriate. Yeah, that's so sweet. Streams. Now live, now live. Rising. Hi, Rising. Rising Shiva. That's quite a name. Hi, Rising. I've been struggling the last few years balancing the experience of vast awareness and this physical everyday experience. Even in those special moments where I felt calmly at the center of the universe and the physical become illusory, I don't know how to manage the two realities. I experience it as all one, yet I experience it in the body. Compelling but confusing. What to do? Rising Shiva, you need to reflect on empathy. That's what you need to do. What is empathy and what does it mean? That is what you do. Empathy. What does it mean to be empathetic? Oh, I did it. I finished all the questions. Oh no, I didn't. Hi, Paul. Hi, Annette. Thank you for your answer. Empty perceiving rang a bell. Perception. So relaxing. The perception and so forth. Question. This is from Lena, who asked earlier about beautifulness. Well, I have felt I have to have these things that automatically come up, as that's what it is. But thank you for clarifying. I have misunderstood non-duality for years. I see society as very busy with attractiveness. I don't want to worry about these things. I much more like what you said about the light in people and open heart. It's so beautiful. I walk past people on the street. I don't mean it as a judgment, but like there can be someone super attractive and I walk past them and there's absolutely no response. But if I see light glowing from someone, it just makes me so happy. Like to see someone glowing. And when I interact with people, that's what I'm looking for, is that glow in their eyes. Attractiveness a lot has to do with money because you've got to remember that women were a sellable object in society. I don't mean to bring all this feminism stuff up. I don't even know if I'm a feminist or not. It's a complicated issue. Maybe I'm a neo-feminist or a feminist pre-feminist. I don't know what I am. But women were sellable objects. And 100 or 200 years ago, what was attractive was fat women, plumpy women. This was more attractive, plumpy women. Because that reflected back that you had more wealth and more food, and plumpiness was attractive. And then as we got richer, feminists say that women became skinnier because women became more dominant and free. And so then becoming physically skinnier meant that men had a domination still over them. And that's why it became... I also think skinniness became popular also because gay men were designing fashion clothes and gay men were attracted to young men's body. So these skinny women represented young men, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But I also can understand that if men are used to being the powerful one and the dominant one, suddenly having a dominant woman and a plumpy woman, one that's physically stronger than them, then they would feel inadequate. So then I can see psychologically how that change could happen in men. So you've got to remember that women were sellable objects up until 100 years ago. And in some societies that are listening, they're still sellable objects for marriage, for kids, for having kids. In Western societies, it's not the case anymore, but it's still tightly related to money. So sexuality, so an attractive woman sells a lot of products because it opens up a part in men's brains when they see an attractive woman. It's nothing wrong. I'm not laughing at men or saying they're bad, but it's advertisement. It works on men. It doesn't really work on us so much on women. Like seeing a hunky man doesn't suddenly make us like if they've got a six pack, and it doesn't make us melt, but it works the other way around, and it's just become a society norm. But you can actually see that attractiveness was a lot about finances and money. Marriage was an institution about money. It was a way of inheritance being passed over. It was a way of growing a bigger family group, which is about survival. And attractiveness of a woman, it's like if your woman was really attractive, of whatever was considered attractive in that society, it meant that they could attract a better partner and that family could receive more money. So it's actually a really fickle thing, this attractiveness. It's a power thing. It gives you power in society. And then if you look for somebody's light, so if you look for somebody's goodness, like their pureness of heart, like that connection to consciousness, to who they truly are, it's like going against that whole money system. It's like a form of activism. It's like loving someone beyond all forms, loving someone beyond the money, the power system. It's like loving someone for their essence. It's like a revolution. Imagine if that, I wouldn't want it to ever be commoditized, but imagine if that was seen as the goal in our society, like how our society would be see differently. Like suddenly it wouldn't be about having houses to compare to each other, like come over to my house and come and see how much Ted Baker furniture I have, or Gucci furniture, or I don't even know what's a famous designer. It would be about comparing each other about who's got more light. Come and look at my daughter, she's so light. Or my son, which is kind of quite sweet. But that's not a good idea. I'm not suggesting it should be that way. I'm just playing. It's the most attractive thing. When you really know what you want, which is freedom, then you'll see it as the most attractive thing to be around people that emanate light. But we get so confused. We think that the most attractive thing is power and money and domination. And so often we're going towards people that actually have dark hearts, like a lot of our politicians, and a lot of people that run our countries and run big businesses actually have dark hearts. But we run towards them because in the psychology of most humans, the most important thing is domination and power and survival. I mean, who cares how long you survive for? What's more important, being happy and being free, or surviving for like 90 years? But most of the time we run towards powerful people because they help us survive longer. But it's changing. Society is changing, like money balance is changing. So when I look at a politician, actually, whether they're part of the Conservative or Labour, if you're American, whether they're part of Democrats or what are the other ones called? Democrats or the right-wing ones. Democrats. Well, we call them in England, Labour is like Labour for the workforce, and Conservative is the rich one. And I just look at people's faces and eyes, and they can be for either one, and it's about whether they have a good heart, really. It's not so much about the poor or helping the rich or balancing taxes. It's whether or not they have a good heart, and most of them don't, because they've had to fight to get to the top and to be popular. And so a lot of them don't have very good hearts, but you can see it like coming out of people's eyes. And the same with gurus and teachers, like go towards those that have light coming out of them, not those that have the most following or the most powerful. A lot of people are just attracted to powerful gurus because lots of other people are attracted to them, and it's just the same old thing. Like, see that childlike innocence that aren't trying to take from you. You can feel it energetically when you get down to the sensitivity of feeling. Republicans, that's what you call them in America. We call them in the United Kingdom Labour, So that's people doing Labour, and Conservatives. That's the rich people. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of the poor people, they vote for the Conservatives because the Conservatives say a lot of things about immigrants. And we don't want immigrants. And all the poor people end up fighting for the Conservatives, and the Conservatives are just following the interest of the rich people. So we always have Conservative, or mostly have Conservative in power in England, which is a shame. Not that I don't think it really makes that much difference, the Labour or the Conservative. But the moment our mess in England is because the poor people voted for the Conservatives, because the Conservatives were like, let's take England back again and get all the Europeans out of England. Okay, that's a fine idea. And do you think those Conservative people are pro-poor people? The reason you're poor is because of all the immigrants. Oh, when have we heard that before? Oh yes, it's the immigrants' problem. Yeah, it's not years and years and years of rule by Conservatives. Always the same old thing, and the poor people always fall for it because they're not educated enough. And they believe, because they see immigrants in their communities moving in, they really believe that's the problem. But look for the light, and I swear to you, someone with light won't be talking immigration stuff and stopping immigration. I won't be talking about those things. Okay, let's see if there's more questions. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for your presence and offering. With pleasure, lovely Levy. Hi, Lisa. I'm often finding myself pointing out stuff to my partner concerning his behaviour towards me or the dynamics between us. He is most of the time disagreeing and questioning my perception of things. I want to be true to what I feel and feel trust in myself, and it's quite easy for me to doubt myself. I was able to see the benefits at certain points in my life of just following the flow and trust what I feel. I find it more difficult to do when you're in a relationship. Any thoughts on this? Go to see a counsellor, like a non-dual counsellor or something, and let there be a third perspective. I don't say that like saying your relationship is bad or something, but bringing in a third perspective, it's super helpful for even people that have good relationships, I think. To get an outside opinion. And what you want to do is trust yourself, but it's good to let someone else look at it and look at the dynamics. Sam, hi Lisa, good to see you. Just joined the live stream. Question: can you please talk about trusting who you are from both the non-dual perspective and the relative perspective? Well, you can only really trust who you are on the relative perspective. On the non-dual perspective, on the absolute, you can only know who you are, and it's not something that you have to trust or anything, because you is already moving in time, so it's something that's known. And then on the relative side, you can trust yourself or not trust yourself. I think it's important on the human side to have an openness to feedback. I listen to feedback from people, but I think that you'll have less suffering if you trust yourself. Anybody, not just you. If you trust yourself, if you constantly in a state of doubting yourself, then it's going to be very uncomfortable. Or another way to look at it is, if you feel expansive when you're saying and doing things, then trust yourself. And if you're feeling closed and negative and tight, then question things more and wait until you feel expansive and more in line with yourself. Like if you're doing something out of a tightness, then it's more than likely you're doing it out of a taking, a place of trying to take. Because you feel tight, you're trying to open yourself up and get something to open yourself up. And nothing in the flow will free you. The freedom is you. Freedom is here. It's like a greediness. If you feel expansive when you're doing stuff, then trust it. Democrats or Republicans, yeah. Republicans. Funny, isn't it? Like the different names. Conservative. My parents both voted to leave the EU, but I think my mum voted because she was fed up with the politics in the UK. My dad left because he said, I don't want to be run by Germans. And I think that they've got a different perspective because they were both born in the Second World War. So they have a... I mean, it is true that Germany's most probably going to end up ruling the EU, and it most probably does already, but maybe they're good rulers. Not obviously the Nazism that happened 60 years ago it was. But maybe they're good rulers in the fact that they've been through that, so they've been humbled by it. And maybe they're really good at the organisation stuff. Like if you look at societies, Germany seems to run quite well and be quite fair in lots of ways. I don't know though. If you're enlightened, how can you diss fat people? Are you tripping? You gone straying? I was dissing fat people? I can't remember what I said if I was dissing fat people. I don't have a issue with a fat person, but maybe it came across as me saying that in my talk. I can't remember. Yes, is the only thing that causes change on the human level to shift attention to awareness. The energetic expansion is freedom. You can improve the person and the personal behavior by getting to know the person and its dynamics and expanding them and changing them. But true freedom is the recognition of who you are, that energetic movement. Okay, guys, well, that's the end of the questions now, so I am going to go and recover from my hay fever. And I won't be here on Wednesday. I'm driving back to the south of France on Tuesday, so I won't be here on Wednesday. It might be that I can do this thing now where they stream something at a certain time. But remember to always check my website when coming to watch me live, because often I can't. And over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to the south of Spain and doing talks there. And then I'm back in France for a couple of months. So I'll be quite even again. Yeah, and I see that there's some really gross chat, which is going to bring people saying that I do pornos and blowjobs and all those sorts of things. And who cares? Who cares? Yes, I've had sex in my life. I've done all types of things, and who cares? Like, put it on the internet. Like, who cares? Oh yeah, you see me like almost make me super popular anyway. I don't care. Sex is just sex. It doesn't matter. We all take it way too seriously. Like naked bodies and bits of flesh and sweat and stuff coming out. Doesn't matter. None of this matter. None of this life matters. What matters is what we are. And in a way, you could see how funny sex is. Like, we all take it so seriously. There's such a funny side to it. And just also to speak to anybody that's saying this type of things, just be aware, and I say this with joy in my heart, that everything you do on the internet is traceable. Everything. Like, I just say it because you write all these things on the internet about someone, but if it ever comes to it, everything is traceable. If you think that you're invisible on the internet, every search you do, every email, everything that you do is traceable. And who knows what that data is being collected for or kept for. So you can say these things, you can troll, you can bully people, you can do all types of things, but it's all recorded. You can't do anything now without being recorded. And who cares about the sex stuff? Like, if you've got videos or not got videos or doing all these types of things, it doesn't matter. It's just sex. It's just bodies and flesh and blood and water and bones and muscles and atoms and life and the divine. And we're so preoccupied and obsessed with it. There's nothing that matters in this life. We take it way too seriously. Okay, lots of love to you guys. I wish you a beautiful week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye, guys.